Good morning, all. I deemed it a great honor and privilege to welcome you for celebration on National Energy Conservation Day, 14th December 2022. Let me first of all start by giving glory to Almighty God for making today's occasion a resounding success. We first thank the management for creating this wonderful platform where we are able to form a forum to share our thoughts. We are grateful to our principal, Dr. Jayasudha A, who is a really guiding and constant motivating force behind our endeavor. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Subhash Kumar, CS, Associate Professor, Electrical and Electronics Engineering Department, PAG Institute of Technology and Applied Research, Coimbatore. He has completed BE from Kumaraguru College of Technology, ME Electrical Mechanics from PAG College of Technology, and he had completed his PhD in the area of power quality in the field of electrical engineering. His research interests include power electronics application in power system, active power filters for power conditioning, bidirectional converter for renewable energy applications, and industrial automations. He is lifetime member of ISTE and member of IEEE. I wish you a productive and enjoyable online session. Now I welcome Dr. Subhash Kumar to start the session.
Thank you so much, sir, for your nice introduction.
Thank you so much.
I would like to thank the management for providing me an opportunity to interact with you on this very important day, Energy Conservation Day, which is celebrated on December 14th. And it's very unique that a nursing college is celebrating Energy Conservation Day, and I'm very happy to be a part of this program.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, pleasant good morning to all the participants. Today we are going to discuss something new to you, which is energy conservation that we don't do in our day-to-day life. I am Dr. Subhash Kumar, Associate Professor from PAG iTech, Coimbatore, and I'm going to interact with you for the next 1 hour with regard to what is energy conservation, what do we need to do with regard to energy conservation, how to save electricity in our homes. Often we waste electricity and our parents will always scold us to switch off the light, fan, everything, and we don't follow it. I'll tell you what are the general guidelines that we need to follow in our home so that we can conserve energy, and what is the impact that it has by saving energy. We'll discuss with regard to that. And I prefer that you ask some questions also. You can be interactive. You can stop me wherever you want. You can ask some general questions. I'm open to any question. So energy can be of any form. It can be a thermal energy. It can be a wind energy. It can be a nuclear energy. It can be a solar energy, or it can be electrical energy. The country which is dominating in energy, say for example, our Gulf countries, they are dominating in petroleum energy. They are ruling the world. So if India needs to take that position, we need to enhance our position in terms of energy. It can be for any form of energy. It can be a solar, a thermal. Always one form of energy can be converted into another form. So once we have abundance of energy, then we will be the market leaders. We'll be a more cost-effective country. We'll be more richer. Okay, so that means the judicious and effective use of energy to maximize profit or to minimize cost and enhance competitive position. So if I want to be competitive in this world, I need to increase the production of energy. As a country like India, we are not able to produce that much energy as a Gulf country produce or a US produce or a Russia produce. They produce more amount of energy. They produce gasoline, they produce fuel. US has a lot of thermal power plants. They produce a lot of energy. But compared to that, India cannot afford to produce that much energy. But can we conserve the energy and reduce our energy usage? That is what we are going to see in today's session. And today we are going to concentrate not on other forms of energy. We are going to concentrate on electrical energy. This is the energy what we maximum use. So we are going to discuss on how to conserve this electrical energy in today's 1 hour session. That is going to be our content for today's class, today's session. So if you look at the electricity product generation in India, if you look at the electrical power which is being generated, if you look over here, we have fossil fuel and non-fossil fuel over here. First, we'll have a general idea how electricity is being generated. Using coal, we generate 50% of the electricity. Using coal, lignite, gas, diesel, it constitutes to around 57.9% of the electricity which is being produced. And the remaining electrical power comes from hydro source, from we have dams and all. Okay. So if we talk about coal, we have Neyveli Lignite Corporation in Tamil Nadu, we have Neyveli Lignite Corporation, Mettur Thermal Power Plant. All those are coal-based power plants. And we have some gas-based power plants, as well as we use diesel for producing electricity. Then we have hydro source. Wherever you have a dam, in Mettur we have a dam, in Bhavani Sagar we have a dam. Wherever we have, Nalayar we have a dam. Wherever we have a dam, we tap those electrical energy from it. That constitutes to 11.5%. And wind, solar, other renewable energy sources, it constitutes to 29%. And nuclear fuel, we would have heard about Kudangulam Power Station, Kalpakam Power Station, that constitutes to 1.7%. This is as on October 2022 data. And the non-fossil fuel constitutes for 42.1%. The important thing is the coal, the fossil fuels will come for another 40 or 50 years, beyond which we will not have enough fossil fuel. So we need to depend upon the non-fossil fuel. We need to go for solar or wind or another renewable form of energy that is going to be produced, biogas or anything like that. We need to produce electrical energy in those space. So if you look at the graph, 50% of the electricity that is being produced is by coal or thermal power. When I talk about coal or thermal power, we are going to emit carbon dioxide from it. We are going to have carbon dioxide emission. When we are having carbon dioxide emission, that pollutes our air, that causes a lot of greenhouse gas emissions and all. So we have a lot of issues with regard to coal, but that is a 50% constituent. Okay. If you look at nuclear, it is merely around 1.7%. That is what we had seen. Hydro, which is a natural source, it comes around, if you look at the previous slide, hydro, it comes around 11%, and the renewable energy constitute only for 29%. This area constitutes only 29%. Our objective is to maximize this area and reduce the usage of coal. Okay, that should be our objective. Now, we had seen how electricity is being produced, and we had seen that predominantly the electricity is being produced by burning coal. By burning coal, we are converting your thermal energy into electrical energy in thermal power stations. Now, we'll see what are the different ways in which I can save electricity. The first thing is lighting. I can use a compact fluorescent lamp, CFL lamps, we call that as CFL lamps, or light emitting diodes in place of conventional lights. So this lamp over here, the lamp what we see over here, this bulb, what we use in most of our homes, this bulb is called as incandescent bulb, or in our local language, we call it as Gundu bulb அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். We call this as our incandescent lamp. This incandescent lamp consumes more amount of electrical power to produce the same illumination of a compact fluorescent lamp. So it is preferable to avoid this incandescent lamp. Suppose if you are having incandescent lamp in your home, okay, try to avoid this. You'll have 40 watts, 60 watts, 100 watts, different wattage of 100 bulbs will be available. You need to avoid this bulb, and preferably you need to go with this kind of lamp. Next is, while using lighting in our homes, we should see that the place which requires the illumination, our light should be fixed in such a way that the place which requires illumination should have the maximum brightness. So while fixing our lighting in our environment, in our homes, in our rooms and all, we should see that where we require. So suppose if I'm using a study table, if I keep it on the back side, I'll have shadow falling on my book. So I should avoid a lighting system like that. I should have it just overhead so that I have maximum illumination for reading. So wherever you require the task lighting, which concentrates on the space which is required, and we can use light colored surface. In our homes and all, while we paint, it is preferable to use light color, because if I use a dark color, then the lamp intensity should be more huge. Okay, suppose if I'm using a 40 watts and a 60 watts, if I use a dark color paint, I need to use a 60 watts bulb or a 100 watts bulb to provide the same illumination. Or else I can use a light colored surface which will have a pleasant feeling, and the illumination level keeps increasing. And we need to have a natural lighting as much as possible if I need to conserve energy. Use windows. So if you look at, I'll finish this. If we compare the different kinds of lighting, I can either go with, this is the incandescent lamp, what we talked about, which should not be used. Okay. So if you look at the wattage, the power rating of this is quite higher. Okay. Normally we don't use halogen lights in our homes. Okay. Nowadays we use CFL LED, and in some homes we use incandescent, and it is better to replace this incandescent lamp with CFL. And if you are having CFL, once your bulb goes, it is preferable to use a LED. We can prefer to use a light emitting diode, which has an average life which is higher compared to your incandescent lamp and CFL. The average life is higher. The energy consumption is the lowest over here. If you take the energy consumption, it is the lowest. But the only thing is, incandescent lamp, I can get it for 20 rupees in the market. A CFL lamp, 70-80 rupees. A LED bulb, 100 rupees. We normally go to buy an incandescent lamp. But if you look into the cost of energy that we are saving for our homes, then it is preferable to use a LED, which will give us profit in the long run. Over a period of time, you can see that the average life of the LED bulb is nearly 5 to 10 times of your normal bulb. So it is always preferable to go with LED bulbs in the future. A small question to you. I'll post this question on the chat box. Normally, when we go to buy a refrigerator and all, when you go and buy a refrigerator, you can see the star rating in the front of your refrigerator or your air conditioner. A star rating would have been given to you. What is the purpose of that star rating, and why do we require that star rating? I have posted a question for you on the chat box. Okay, in the chat box, we have a question posted. Just click on the link. You'll be taken to a screen like this. Star rating of an electrical appliance is an indication of its cost, power input, power output, energy efficiency. Just click on a link and click on quote. I kindly request all the participants to take 2 minutes time and to answer this question.
Students, எல்லாரும் அந்த லிங்க் கிளிக் பண்ணி சீக்கிரமா vote பண்ணுங்க. Do it fast.
Are you able to click the link?
Students, you can unmute and talk.
Link click ஆகுதுங்களா? Are you able to click on the link? You can post the answer on the chat box.
Yes, sir. Link open ஆகுது.
Yeah.
Students, 6 votes now வந்திருக்கு. Do it fast.
Thank you. It's opening. Yeah, good. Most of you have got it right. Energy efficiency, the star rating of an electrical device is used as an indication of its energy efficiency. So when we go to buy a refrigerator, normally this star rating is based upon, if you look at the slide, both these refrigerators have been rated for 215 liters. Okay, both these refrigerators, this is a 3-star rated refrigerator. This nameplate will give a spec for a 5-star rated refrigerator. Both these refrigerators are being designed for 215 liters, 215 liters. This is the refrigerator what we normally use in our homes. Okay. So if I'm buying a refrigerator, if it is a 5-star rated refrigerator, this comes to around 107 units per year. Whereas here, the electricity consumption is 167 units per year. So this is a very important factor that we need to look into while we buy any electrical appliance. Okay. As a general consumer will not be aware of wattage, the current, the losses that occurs in a refrigerator. So for a general customer, it will be better if they give it a star rating, and if the star rating is more, the energy efficiency is higher, and the customer can buy that product. So if you have 2 refrigerators, one with a 3-star rating and another with a 5-star rating, it is always preferable to buy a refrigerator with a 5-star rating. But now the question arises. A 3-star rated refrigerator will cost around 15,000 rupees. A 5-star rated refrigerator will cost around 20 or 22,000 odd rupees. That means now at this instant, we need to select upon which refrigerator I'm going to buy, whether a 3-star rated refrigerator is sufficient to me, or I'm going to buy a 5-star rated refrigerator for our household application. The thing is, of course, when I use a 5-star rating, then I would use a better quality electrical motor over here. I will use copper, which has better heat insulator for the compressed air circulation inside the refrigerator. Okay, a 3-star rated would use aluminum tubes for circulation, which will have more heat dissipation. If I use copper, the copper cost is more, the cost of your refrigerator will also increase. Okay. So it is better from the longer run point of view. Say, for example, 2 years, 3 years, after 2 years or 3 years, if I'm using a 3-star rated refrigerator, then I'll be paying more electricity bill when I compare it with a 5-star rated machine. A 5-star, I'll be paying less electricity bill. That means over a period of time, it will be a saving for me. So don't buy electrical appliances just from the point of initial cost. Even if 1,000 or 2,000 is higher, buy an energy efficient refrigerator or an air conditioner or any electrical appliance. So this is with regard to star rating. And with regard to air conditioners, normally we can use a ceiling or table fan can be used to reduce the temperature before switching on the air conditioner. And normally we have a tendency, once we have an air conditioner, we'll keep it to 16, 17 degree. We'll switch on the air conditioner. We'll keep it below 22 degree. If I'm keeping my air conditioner below 25, 22 degree, then I'm going to spend a huge amount of electrical energy for cooling the required space. If I'm using in my bedroom, I'll be using more electrical power if I'm keeping my temperature to from 16 to 22 degree. Okay. So you need the compressor motor to run. It will take a lot of amount of electrical power to cool that required space. Whereas above 22 degree, if I keep 23 degree, 24 degree, 25 degree, for every degree of temperature change from above 22 degree, I'll be able to save around 3 to 5% of energy for per degree increase in temperature. So whenever we are using air conditioner, try to keep it near 25 degree, which will be optimum temperature for our environment. So environment like us, it is recommended the air conditioner temperature to be 25 degree, where we'll have energy saving and we'll have the best comfort. Normally, while using air conditioner, it is preferable to use the sleep mode. Okay. So once the room gets cool, we can go on in your air conditioner, you can select the sleep mode so that we'll have a better saving in electrical power. So once sleep mode is enabled, we can switch on in between the compressor, whether we require the required cooling or not. Next, very important thing, if I want to have a better cooling, remove dust from the filter every month. It helps with proper airflow. You can just Google and find some YouTube videos. There is no requirement for any specified technician to come and clean your air conditioner. Just by seeing a YouTube video, you'll be able to clean the filters of your, just take the filter, wash it, and again, place the filter in its position. So by doing this, we'll be able to save more amount of electrical power, and our cooling will also be better, and will not have a pollution-free environment. Normally, the filter filters out all minute dust particles. So if we are able to filter those particles at an early stage, monthly once, if we clean it, that will help us in provide efficient cooling as well as energy efficient cooling. Coming to refrigerator, just now we talked about a 3-star rated refrigerator and a 5-star rated refrigerator. In refrigerators also, we have temperature setting knob. Don't keep the temperature setting knob to a minimum value. Keep the knob to a normal optimum value. So again, in refrigerator also, if we increase the temperature setting, the energy consumed can be increased. We can increase the energy consumption by increasing the temperature setting. Inside your temperature setting, you'll have a red color defreezer knob, and around the knob, around the defreezer switch, you'll have a rotating knob. By varying the rotating the knob, I can set the required temperature, whether 20 degree or 10 degree or 5 degree, whatever setting I want, I can keep it. So based upon the materials that I keep inside my refrigerator, keep an optimum setting. If you increase the temperature setting, then energy efficiency will be more. Before placing any items, this is a general instruction. Before placing any food items, don't keep it hot inside the refrigerator, because when I keep something hot inside the refrigerator, that for cooling that, it will consume more amount of electrical power. So we need to have the compressor on for a longer duration to make that cool. So outside cool it, then keep inside your refrigerator. So any liquid items we keep, we need to have it as the lid closed. So because due to vaporization, the temperature gets deferred. And very important thing, we can reduce the time the refrigerator door is kept open. So we should see that the refrigerator door is open. Once I keep it open, all the cooling goes off. Within 2 minutes or 3 minutes, the cooling goes off. And if I again close the door, it takes time to cool. When you stand near your refrigerator and you can hear a clicking sound for around 10 minutes, it will be on, your refrigerator will run. After 15 minutes, the refrigerator will automatically off. Inside, we have temperature control sensors, which senses the temperature and it automatically switches on and off the refrigerator automatically. The switching on and off of the refrigerator is done based upon the cooling inside. What is the setting that we keep inside the refrigerator? Suppose if I keep it to minimum and if I keep the door open, then the cooling will go off and I need to cool it again to the maximum temperature. It will take a longer time, and till then the compressor motor will run. If the compressor motor runs, then it means that the energy consumed is going to be more. So we should see that for a refrigerator, these are ways in which we can conserve energy in our homes. Condenser cooling, we can need to take the help of a specialist to cool. Next, washing machine. Normally, in all our homes, we use washing machines, and this washing machine will consume 20% of the electricity bill. Normally, for washing, we should operate our machine under full load condition. Okay, partially loaded or half loaded. That means the motor will run whether you are fully loaded or half loaded. Once when it is fully loaded, we'll have the maximum efficiency occurring, because all your washing machines will be designed to operate at maximum efficiency under full load condition. So we need to make sure that our washing machines are being fully loaded. Okay. And preferable, we have different options in our washing machine. We have soak function, we have pre-wash, everything. It is preferable that you soak your clothes first, then you give the clothes to the washing machine for washing. You apply the clothes for washing. Once you soak, we don't have to keep the soak option, which means that in your soak option also, it consumes electricity. For maintaining the temperature inside your motor, we'll have thermal heaters available, you'll have water inlet, the motor needs to spin for some duration. So for all these things, electrical energy is consumed, which can be reduced by pre-soaking. And normally we have a tendency of using dryers in washing machines. Washing machines, we prefer to use dryers, and normally when it is a rainy season, okay, we don't have any other option, we need to use dryers. But in summer, we can reduce the usage of dryers. Once we use dryers, in washing machines, we have heaters. Those heaters will consume more amount of electricity. When it consumes more amount of electricity for drying, it means that my electricity bill is going to shoot up nearly 50%. If I use a dryer, if I don't use a dryer, I can reduce my electricity bill of my washing machine by 50%. So if I want to save electrical power, it is preferable to dry our clothes in sun rather than using a dryer for drying. So dryer, it comes with a heater. You need to spin the motor. For all these things, it takes huge amount of electrical power, which can be saved. So in our washing machines, we can save by operating at full load, soaking it. And the next important thing is dryer, use it when required. Don't use it at all times. The next, another important appliance which consumes more amount of electricity is geysers or water heater. In these geysers or water heater, we have two different settings. One is thermostat. Thermostat is an appliance which measures the temperature, and based upon the temperature, it automatically switches off and on the heater coil inside your water heater. We have two types. The thermostat setting will be visible outside like this. So here you can see that 45 is visible. We have a plus sign, we have a minus sign, in which I can set my temperature, whatever temperature I want, whether I want my water at 45 degree or 60 degree or 75 degree, I can set my temperature. If I set my temperature to a higher degree, then the time taken for cooling will be more. When time required for cooling, not for cooling, for heating is more, then the electrical energy consumed by my heater will be very high. So if electrical energy consumed by the heater is very high, normally our electricity bill will shoot up for that particular month. During winter season, if I use more amount of water heater, then naturally in the month of January, when we see our electricity bill, the electricity bill will be very high. So it is preferable to have water heated up to 45 degrees centigrade. Okay. While talking about air conditioners, we told that 25 degrees centigrade for cooling. Here we are talking about 45 degrees centigrade for heating the water. So for heating water, you can heat the water up to 45 degrees centigrade. So if you are having a water heater in your home, and if you are having a variable thermostat or temperature setting which is available in your water heater, it is preferable to set that to 60 degree. Okay. For our comfort, it is preferable to have 60 degree for energy saving. 45 degree is good to use, but if I go with for 60 degree, the temperature or the electrical energy consumed will be higher. So it is always preferable to have the temperature setting at 45 degree. Okay. Normally, if I'm buying a water heater without the setting, that will be available for 60 degrees centigrade. That means the water will get heated up to 60 degrees centigrade, which means it consumes more electrical power. Suppose if I am having a setting, vary that, keep it to 45 degrees centigrade. So which means that you'll be able to save more amount of electrical power. Next, the normal mistake, what we tend to do, normally all of us tend to do is, do not keep the water heater on for a longer duration. Once we wake up, normally many people have this tendency to just go and switch on the heater. Once you wake up, you'll switch on the heater and you'll bath after 1 hour or 2 hours. Till then, the heater will be on. You'll be wasting enormous amount of electrical power if you're doing that. Your electricity bill will shoot up rather than switch on the heater only when required. Next is select the right sized geyser as per your requirement, and preferable install a solar heating system. Solar heating system is more preferable. If you are using a water heater, use a right sized heater. there are liters available, 15 liters, 25 liters, based upon the requirement. Inquire about the requirement for a person or 2 persons or 3 persons. Based upon the requirement, choose a optimum size of heater, whether you require a 15-liter water heater or a 25-liter water heater or a 60-liter water heater. If it is a 60-liter water heater, it takes long amount of time to heat the 60 liter of water. The thing that is advisable for you is, if you are going to buy a water heater, it is preferable to buy a instant water heater. Once you open the tap, you'll have hot water. Once you close the tap, the water tap switches off, you can switch off the heater. Instant water heaters are preferable because if I store the water in the tank, there will be loss of heat. The temperature will get wasted. So it is preferable to use a 5-star water heater and with instant water heater. And if you are having a temperature setting, set it to 45 degrees. Normally you will have 60-degree settings. Next, very important thing, normally in all our homes, we buy motors for pumping water from the sump tank to the overhead tank to pump water. We buy motors. In this motors, while going and buying a motor for your home purpose or for an agri purpose, motors are available at different prices. From, say, for example, if you are buying a 1 HP motor, 1 HP motor will be available for 7,000 rupees, 8,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees. The difference is the efficiency of the motor. The same 1 HP motor, I can get it for 70% efficiency, or I can get it for 80% efficiency, or approximately 83%, or 85%, or 90% efficiency. If the efficiency is higher, then the energy saving is higher. Okay. Normally in market, if say, for example, if I'm going and buying a motor from a shop, a Texmo motor with IE3 standard, it will cost around 15,000. Say, for example, if it costs around 15,000, a motor which is wounded either in Ganapati or somewhere else, which is unbranded and they don't follow any standard procedure, that motor efficiency would be around 70%. Okay, where is 70%? Where is 90%? That means 20% of the power is being wasted. Efficiency is output by input, output power by input power. So if I give input power, maximum it should be utilized as output power. If efficiency is higher, then losses are less. If efficiency is lower, then losses are huge. If losses are huge, the motor gets heated up, the cost of electricity goes up. So buying a standard motor with a higher efficiency is a must. This you can follow it for your domestic application while buying motor for your pump application, or for your agri land if you are buying some submersible motors. See to that what standard it is, how efficient it is, what is the energy consumption cost. You can get all those data and you can compare it with 2 or 3 products. Then you can buy a right motor for your domestic or for your agri application. You can suggest your parents to buy a particular motor so that on the longer run, it will give more profit to them. More profit, longer life also. The motor life also will, if a normal motor, if I'm buying a standard motor, its life will be around 10 years, 15 years. If I'm buying a substandard motor, its life comes around 7 years. That means after 7 years, again, I have to reinvest the same amount. So it is not economical in the longer run buying a substandard motor. So in India, if we replace all the motors that we have with IE2 efficiency motors, okay, if I am replacing all the domestic motors, all the industrial motors with IE2 standard motors, it comes to, I'll have a saving of 40 billion Indian rupees. That is, this cost is 1/3 of the energy cost used in India. So doing a simple task, I'll be able to save 1/3 of the energy for India. Oh, for a domestic application, if I'm saving for the country also. Okay. So Right now, if a government announces that we have to replace all the motors used in our domestic application with IE2 motors, then it means that throughout India, we will be able to save 1/3 of the energy that has been used. Of course, we are going to change in all our domestic applications, we are going to change the motors, but we have a deadline as per the United Nations Paris Agreement, whether we are changing for a domestic application or so, for industrial application by 2030, all our motors is going to be IE2 standards. This is the United Nations, according to the United Nations Paris Climate Change Conference Treaty. You might have read about this United Nations Paris Climate Change Conference Treaty and all in your newspaper. Based upon that, in order to reduce the carbon dioxide emission, because if in the initial slide, we saw that 50% of the electrical power is produced by burning coal. So if I burn coal and produce electricity, and if I waste that electrical power as losses in my motor, that is going to cost me more. So for that, we are planned to reduce the carbon dioxide emission by replacing the substandard motors with international efficiency standard motors. And in the future, this rule will be applicable even for a domestic appliance also, for all the domestic applications, and we'll be asked to replace our motors in a period of time. Now, we'll have a quick look into what is the power rating for different appliances that we use in our homes. Okay. If I'm using a 42-inch LED TV, then approximately the power rating is 106 watts. If I'm using a tube light, it is 40 watts. Tube light, normal tube light with a normal choke, it is 40 watts. A CFL lamp, 18 watts. All these power rating differs based upon the requirement. There are 3-watt LED bulbs, there are 6-watt LED bulbs, 9 watts LED bulb. I had taken a nominal power rating. Okay. CFL lamps also are also available in the market with different power ratings. Fan, a Crompton high-speed fan, the power consumption is 75 watts. A normal fan will consume around 65 watts of electrical power. Electric stove, 2000 watts. So think of whether we need to use electric stove or not. Computer, 120 watts. This is for a desktop computer. Without graphics card, a normal desktop computer with a normal screen, it will consume around 120 watts. If I'm using a graphics card, if I'm using a bigger display, then the power rating will be bigger, higher. Iron box, 1000 watts, a normal Philips iron box, a normal without any other sophisticated function, it will consume around 1000 watts. Water heater, this rating differs based upon the water heater that we are using, whether I'm using an instant water heater or whether you're using a 5-liter tank or a 10-liter tank. Based upon that, the rating gets differed. A normal mixie will consume around 750 watts. Refrigerator, 130 watts. This is also based upon the model that I use. This is for approximately 200 liters. It consumes 130 watt of electrical power. Washing machine, 2000 watts. This is what I had said. If I'm using a dryer will motor will consume around 500 to 700 watts. If I'm using a dryer, the power required for the dryer will be more. So if I need to choose upon whether I require a dryer in the summertime, whether I need to go with a dryer or whether I'll use without a dryer and dry the clothes in the sun. We have to decide upon that. Now, I have a small survey for you. I'll post this question on the chat box. We have a question for you on the chat box. I request all the participants to kindly click and answer the question. The question goes like this. Are you able to open the question? 1 unit of electricity is equal to 100 watts, 500 watts, 100 watt hour, 1000 watt hour. What is the answer? 1 unit of electricity is equal to. Normally, we all pay our electricity bills. What is 1 unit of electricity equal to? Have you answered? Are you able to open the link? Are you able to open this link? Could you please answer in the chat box? Or you can unmute and speak. One unit of electricity is equal to, we have different answers. Interesting. We have 100 watts, 500 watts, 100 whatever. We have answers for all those things. The actual answer is 1000 watt hour. Many of you have got it right. Very good. So many of you have got the answer correct. 1000 watt hour is the answer. I'll go to my presentation. Now the question arises. I have different power ratings. Okay. Say for example, if I'm using a 100 watts bulb, if I'm using a incandescent lamp for 100 watts, if I use a 100 watts bulb, if I use for 10 hours, that is equal to what? 100 into 10, 1000 watt hour. 1000 watt hour is 1 unit of electricity. So 100 watts into 10 is 1000 watt hour. If I use a 50 watts bulb, if I'm using a 50 watts bulb instead of 100 watt incandescent lamp, if I use a 50 watts incandescent lamp, then how many hours I can use? Could anyone tell? For 1 unit of electricity, for consuming 1 unit of electricity, instead of a 100 watts bulb, how many hours I can use a 50 watts bulb to consume 1 unit of electricity? Any answers from your side?
Students, unmute and talk. Rosni,
I had
Anuja,
been talking for the past 45 minutes. It will be better if you have some answers from your side, correct or wrong. That is immaterial.
20,
Yeah.
20, sir.
Yeah, thank you. It is 20 hours. So 20 hours, it is equal to 1000 watt hour. Now imagine, for providing the same illumination, if I'm using a 7 watt LED bulb or a 10 watt LED bulb, say for example, instead of the 7 watt, let us take off a round off value. If I use a 10 watts LED bulb for lighting our hall or our kitchen or our bedrooms, okay, if I'm using 10 watts bulb for our living rooms, then I can use this for how many hours?
20, 100, sir.
100 hours. I can use it for 100 hours. Then only I'll be consuming 1 unit of electricity. That means instead of 100 watt, I can go with 50 watts, or I can use a 10 watt LED bulb for 100 hours. So using a lower power consumption is economical to us. Now think of whether you need to use this electric stove. I'm using my heater, I'm using my air conditioner. With that, do you want to use a electric stove? Do you want to use a heater? Do you want to use a washing machine? Do you want to use a refrigerator? A refrigerator 130 watts. I'm switching on for 24 hours a day, 24 hours a day. So 130 into 24 hours, that will be my energy consumption. Energy is wattage multiplied by time is your energy consumption. So you can, using this idea, you can calculate how much electricity that you're consuming for your home. Just take into account in your living room, how many fans are there? Each fan multiplied by 75 or 65, multiply by how much time I'm using, whether I'm using for 5 hours or 10 hours a day. TV, we normally keep it switch on for a longer duration. That consumes 106 watts. So if I use a TV for nearly 10 hours, it is going to consume 1 unit of electricity. So just think of how judiciously you are going to use these electrical appliances. How are you going to save energy? Now I'll give you a slab by means of which we pay the electricity bill. One second, it has got stuck. Once again, just give me a moment. I'll reopen the window. Now, if you look at the energy consumption rate for first 100 units, it is free for us. When the unit is maximum 500, first 100 unit is free for us. 101 to 200, it is 2.25 per unit. 201 to 400, it is 4.5 per unit. So this is the unit rate that we pay. Okay. Now for example, 1 unit is 100 watts bulb. If I use for 10 hours, it is 1 unit of electricity. So if I use 1 unit of electricity, I have to pay for 100 units. I don't have to pay any amount for the Tamil Nadu government as of now. From 101 to 200 units, say for example, if I'm using 150 units, then 150 into 2.25, I need to pay as my electricity bill for a domestic application. This is for a domestic application. Okay. Now, say for example, I am consuming 380 units. If the unit consumption is 380, first 100 units, how to calculate this 380 unit is, first 100 units, it is free. Okay. So 0 to 100 unit into 0. So we will have 0 rupees. From 101 to 200, I'll have 100 units. For that 100 units, I need to pay 2.25. So I need to pay 225 rupees. And for the remaining units, so totally I'd use 380 units in my domestic application for 2 months. Or now our electricity bill is billed for 2 months. So for 2 months, I had used 380 units, first 100 unit free, 101 to 200 unit, I'll be charged 225 rupees. And for the remaining 180 units, okay, totally I'd use 380, 180 plus 100 plus 100, 380 units. For the remaining 180 unit, I'll be charged 4 rupee 50 paise, which comes to around 810 rupees. Now my total electricity bill for 2 months will be 1035. Okay. So now, if I'm able to save electrical power in any of the electrical appliance that I listed over here, if I'm able to reduce the usage of TV, or if I'm able to reduce of washing machine, or if I'm keeping my refrigerator door closed for a long period of time, or if I'm using my air conditioner, or I had replaced all my incandescent bulb with LED bulb, then I'll be able to reduce this electricity bill. Okay. So now this is the tariff that we pay. Up to 500 unit, it is 6 rupees per unit. And once my electricity bill increases more than 500 units, then the slab rate is different. 1 to 100 free, 101 to 400, it is 4 rupee 50 paise. 401 to 500, it is 6 rupees. 501 to 608. So it keeps on up. Above 1000 unit, you need to pay 11 rupees. This varies from state to state, and this is the rate that we pay in Tamil Nadu. Now, this is what we pay. Indian electricity cost per unit is, for generating 1 unit of electricity, the same 1000 watt hour of electricity, the cost is 6.15 rupees. That means government has to spend 6 rupees 15 paise for generating 1 unit of electricity. And this cost will go up if I'm having maximum demand. If the power shortage is more, this goes up to around 15 rupees. That means the generating cost of electricity goes to around from 6 rupees to 15 rupees. If I'm using non-renewable energy sources, that cost will come around 2 rupees or 3 rupees per unit. If I'm using fossil fuel, thermal or nuclear, that goes around 6 rupees. So the average cost of electricity per unit for generating is 6 rupees per 15 pies, whereas we pay less than that. Then it is a loss for the government giving electricity to us free of cost. And we know that for our farmers, it is 100% free electricity. Once we don't give farmers free electricity, then the price of crops will shoot up. That also, it is inflation will rise. That also we cannot afford. So the only way in which we can save is we need to save. The generating cost is more than the utilization cost. I am paying less, but the government is spending more. So if I want to improve my economy, if I want to improve the economy of our country, we need to conserve electrical energy. Nowadays, we talk a lot about electrical vehicles and all. But for running those electric vehicles, we burn coal. We emit carbon dioxide. Is that advisable? We have to think in those lines. Okay. So the thing as a general public, what we can do is, instead of wasting electrical energy, as responsible citizens for this country, we can save electrical energy by not wasting electrical energy. We can ask our parents to replace our incandescent bulb with energy efficient LED bulbs. We can ask our parents, if they're buying a motor for a home application or for agri application, we can advise them to buy a standard motor, IE2 efficient motors. We can advise them to buy. Have a temperature setting of more than 25 degree for a air conditioner. For a heater, keep the temperature setting to 60 degree or use an instant water heater. So if you want to save energy in our home, switch off appliances that we don't use. Normally we have a tendency, we just switch off using remote, we don't switch off the supply. In that case also, small amount of power is utilized, which will consume power. So switch off the circuit, switch off the entire circuit. Even if I keep my remote, if I switch off using my remote, power till the input will be available. We call that loading as phantom loading. Small amount of electrical power will be utilized. So switch off the entire circuit when not in use. Switch off light, fan, everything. Switch to LED bulbs. Use instant water heater. Insulate your home well. Suppose if I'm using air conditioner, use proper screens and all so that the temperature does not get escaped outside. Okay. So insulate your home well. If I'm using air conditioners, preferably go solar. Solar is a means by which we can save electricity. And as nursing students, I just want to give you an advice with regard to electrical shock. Many of you parents will be building homes or in your homes. You should know about these parameters. Electrical shock. If my equipment is not earthed, you will receive an electrical shock. Electrical shock is, say for example, if the electrical circuit gets closed through your human body. Suppose if I'm touching a live electrical appliance, and if that closes to the earth through the human body, we will feel a shock. That shock, based upon the ampere rating, we can have different indications. Say, for example, if it is a 1 milliamp current, we'll have a slight sensation. 2 milliamps current, we'll have a mild shock. 20 milliamps current, we'll have contraction of our muscles. Our muscles will get contracted. As paramedical staff, you know better. Above 100 milliamps, our heart stops beating. 300 milliamps, it will be very fatal. So to prevent this electrical shock, see to that in your homes, all your appliances are properly earthed. Say, for example, if your mother is grinding in your grinder, if she's grinding anything, and if she feels that there is an electrical shock, see to that, call an electrician and check whether it is properly earthed. If it is not properly earthed, the circuit gets closed through our human body to the earth, which might be fatal. We need to avoid this. Okay, so this is a general awareness thing. And most important thing we need to have in our homes is, see to that your homes are equipped with this equipment in your main box. We call this as ELCB, Earth Leakage Circuit Breaker. Please make a note of this. If you are building a new home or in your homes, if you need to check whether your homes are equipped with this ELCB, if it is not equipped, ask your parents to buy and keep this. Okay. In your main box, we'll have this ELCB. This ELCB will trip if the current exceeds 5 milliamps of current. This will automatically trip the circuit. You will not feel the shock. It will not be fatal. For this advantage in all our domestic applications, it is preferable to use a ELCB. Okay. So I just exceeded by 4 minutes. Any questions from your side? I'll be happy to answer.
Sir, I have one doubt, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, how much electricity carrying from new bike and car nowadays?
Electricity?
Carrying that capacity, sir. For car, bikes.
For car, bikes and all, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, for car, bike and all, we call it in terms of power rating. In power rating, a car will have a 5 kilowatt motor. Okay, 5 kilowatt means 5,000 watts motor. A typical two-wheeler application will have around 250 watts. So for charging 250 watts, measure what is the current that has been required. Power around 250 watts multiplied by time, you will have the energy, ma'am. So suppose if I'm using a two-wheeler for 250 watts, 250 watts multiplied by how much time you charge, that will be the energy consumed for charging your two-wheeler, ma'am. Suppose if it is a car, 5,000 watts multiplied by the time required for charging will be the charging time or energy that has been consumed for charging. So 5,000 watts means if I charge for 1 hour, I'll be using 5 units of electricity. Suppose if it is a 250 watt two-wheeler, if I'm charging for 4 hours, then I'll be consuming 1 unit of electricity. So based upon the spec, we need to calculate what is the energy that has been consumed.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Yes. Any other question from the students? Yeah, do you have any questions?
Students,
Any domestic application or any queries with regard to electrical engineering, we'll be happy to answer you.
sir, I have a question, sir.
Yes,
one
sir.
doubt. இப்ப ஏசில 16 இல்லைன்னா 18 வச்சுட்டு ஒரு ஃபேன் ஸ்பீட் 1 வச்சுட்டோம்னா எவ்வளவு கரண்ட் சார் இருக்கும் கன்சர்ன்?
சார் 16 இல்ல 18 வச்சாலே நமக்கு வந்து எனர்ஜி கன்சப்ஷன் வந்து ஜாஸ்தி ஆயிரும் சார். அதாவது கம்ப்ரஸர் மோட்டர் அவ்வளவு நேரம் ஓடணும் சார். 16 டிகிரி கூலாறதுக்கு நம்ம ரூம் 16 டிகிரி கூலாறதுக்கு கம்ப்ரஸர் மோட்டர் வந்து சே ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் 25 டிகிரி வச்சுனா ஒரு half an hourல கூல் ஆகுதுன்னா 16 டிகிரி வச்சுனா இட் டேக் 1 hour கிட்ட கம்ப்ரஸர் மோட்டர் ரன்னிங்லயே இருக்கும் சார். திருப்பி என்னோட டெம்பரேச்சர் வந்து 18 கம்ப்ரஸர் மோட்டர் 16 டிகிரி வந்தோடனே ஆஃப் ஆயிரும் சார். திருப்பியும் இஃப் த டெம்பரேச்சர் crosses 18 degree, again the compressor motor will again switch on. But our human comfort is 25 degree will be sufficient. அதனால தான் 25 degree சொல்றேன் சார். 25 degree செட் பண்ணிட்டு நீங்க ஒன்ல ஃபேன் வைக்கிறதுங்கிறது வந்து hot air circulation induce பண்ணுங்க சார். So it is preferable if you are setting for 25 degree and use the sleep mode after 1 hour வந்து ஃபேனை switch on பண்ணிக்கிறது பெட்டருங்க சார். ரெண்டுமே சைமல்டேனியஸா யூஸ் பண்றது அவ்வளவு அட்வைஸ். ரெண்டுக்குமே பவர் எடுத்துக்கிறோம்.
ஃபேன் இப்ப நம்ம ஏசில இருக்கிற ஃபேன் மோட் வந்து 1 வச்சுட்டு அந்த மாதிரி வைக்கும் போதும் இட் வில் டேக் லாட் ஆஃப்.
ஏசில ஃபேன் மோட் வந்து ஃபேன் வந்து 1 2 3 வைக்கிறது கம்மியா தான் பவர் கன்சியூம் ஆகும் சார். அதுல சின்ன ஃபேன் தான் யூஸ் பண்ணிருப்பாங்க சார். அதோட பவர் கன்சம்ஷன் கம்மிங் சார். ஏசியோட கம்ப்ரஸர் மோட்டார் வந்து டெம்பரேச்சர் பொறுத்து ஆன் ஆஃப் ஆகும் சார். அந்த பவர் கன்சம்ஷன் ஜாஸ்திங்க சார். நீங்க ஏசில இருக்க ஃபேனை 3ல கூட வச்சுக்கலாம். பட் கம்ப்ரஸர் மோட்டர் டெம்பரேச்சரை வந்து நான் அதிகமா செட் பண்ண சொல்றேன் சார். அட்வைஸ் பண்றேன்.
Okay, thank you.
Yes sir.
Students, do you have any other questions?
More awareness.
Students, I think hopefully you have learned something new. Not on part of your curriculum, something new. I think you would have understood something. Okay, so try to save energy, and I would like to thank the organizers for providing me with the opportunity to interact with you on this Energy Conservation Day. happy to interact with you and spread some awareness with regard to how to consume or save electrical energy. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to thank the
Students,
principal,
we
the
will- yes, sir.
organizer and the management for providing me this opportunity. Thank you so much, sir.
Students, they are interested to give the feedback, sir. Ragas, switch on your videos. Okay, sir. Vote of thanks. I consider it a great privilege to propose a vote of thanks to all the dignitaries who have witnessed it as a memorable and successful event. On behalf of our institutions, first and foremost, I thank our today's speaker, Dr. Subhas Kumar, CS Associate Professor, Electrical and Electronics Engineering Department, PAG iTech, Coimbatore, who despite his busy schedule has found time to grace this occasion. I wish to thank our principal, Dr. Jesudha A, who is a really a guiding and constant motivating force behind our endeavor. I sincerely thank our IAC members of this online session who have always been a great support behind this event. Last but not least, I thank our students for their cooperation in making this celebration on National Energy Conservation Day as a grand success.
Thank you, students. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.